With over 40 million weapons in circulation, governments resolve to address the scourge, causing countless deaths and slowing developments. Institutions of higher learning in Cameroon ensure graduates meet the demand of the job market, the professionalization of studies, the introduction of new courses, and a grand plan for internship opportunities are outlined this year. Cameroon's indomitable Lions roar in their clubs with outstanding scores. Eric Maxim Choupo-Moting in Bayern Munich and Karl Toko Ekambi in FC Lyon pulled their teams to victory and leave fans excited over their game. Good evening and thanks for joining us. Those were the headlines of the 7:30 news.
Each of us must comply with the measures that have been taken.
The Africa Amnesty Month, aimed at silencing guns, has been launched in Yaoundé, with Cameroon hailed for efforts to curb the illegal circulation of small and light arms. The initiative of the African Union Commission and the United Nations is focusing on the education of citizens to surrender weapons whose proliferation threaten the peace and stability of nations. Charles Ebuna reports on the events chaired by External Relations Minister, His Excellency Mbela Mbela.
At least 40 million small and light weapons are in Africa, possibly just 5 million of them declared by individuals using them, a source of worry.
All of us, we know that these small arms are light weapons. Whenever illicit, this is the real enemy of our continent.
The launch of the African Amnesty Month in Yaoundé is part of the African Union campaign to silence the guns across the continent.
Weapons that escape control as well as they are easy purchase and transfer. This can pose a recurrent security problem in the continent.
The Minister of External Relations, Mbela Mbela, just like officials of the United Nations Disarmament, saluted efforts by Cameroon on small arms legislation.
Cameroon has a law on arms and ammunition, also adopted by Parliament in 2016, and that outlines is a guideline to the acquisition and the holding and use of weapons in this country.
The launch of the Amnesty Month in Yaoundé at the Hilton was attended by diplomats and key government officials, especially those of the security apparatus.
Over 40 million small and light arms are in circulation on the globe, with about 80% of them used in Africa. The illegal possession or ownership of these weapons is causing countless deaths, untold suffering, and the disruption of economic activities. Ebenezer Akanga in the following report looks at the proliferation and says there is an urgent need to stop the spread.
According to statistics of the United Nations, there are more than 1 billion small arms in circulation in the world. Millions of such arms are found in the Central African sub-region. These arms, which often find themselves in the wrong hands, are used for wrong purposes. They are used to kill, maim, injure, and kidnap. In short, they are used to commit atrocities. Cameroon is also suffering from the effects of illicit proliferation and circulation of arms, be it in Boko Haram terrorism in the far north region or the separatist conflict in the northwest and southwest regions, highway robbery or armed banditry. Thousands of people have been killed, maimed and injured using small arms and light weapons. To say the least, the situation of illicit proliferation and circulation of arms in the Central African sub-region is very preoccupying. Cameroon has tried to tackle the issue by prohibiting the sale of arms and ammunition in some regions of the country. But a strategy that applies at national, sub-regional, continental, and international levels would be effective in stopping the phenomenon.
We're staying security news, and onto this press release, the minister delegate at the presidency in charge of defense informs that in the afternoon of Friday, the 16th of October 2020, at about 4:30 p.m., a fire broke out in the building hosting the command post of the Bamenda Territorial Gendarmerie Unit located at Upstation. The quick intervention of firefighters, together with the combined efforts of forces of the National Gendarmerie and residents of the locality, made it possible to contain the flames and bring the fire under control about 7 p.m. From the first indications of the investigation that has been launched, it appears that the fire was an accident caused by the sudden return of electric power in Bamenda after a power outage that led to a shock on the electricity meter supply in the building. The first indications of the investigation now available clearly show that the fire had no link with the security situation in Bamenda, which has greatly improved since the launch of the Bamenda Clean Operation. The minister delegates at the presidency in charge of defense hereby renews the support of the head of state, commander-in-chief of the armed forces, to all the defense and security forces, and reassures the population of the smooth continuation of activities at the said gendarmerie unit, its operational capacity having remained uncompromised. It is signed by the head of the communication division, Atom Fagemo Cyril Serge. Now on to one of our top stories. The Ministry of Higher Education is committed to ensure that graduates fit in perfectly into the job market upon completion of their studies. With the evolution of the world and new recruitment options, schools and faculties have renewed their syllabus and rendered them more professional. Cynthia Sapto reports that apart from the introduction of new courses, internship plans have been drafted to equip students with the necessary professional exposure.
Professionalizing the higher education system should equip today's graduates with tools suited for the demands of an ever-changing job market. In order to incorporate state guidelines on the subject, universities now professionalize degree courses and prioritize field training and internships.
We now implement a series of other activities, mainly with online courses. The number of hours given to internship quite important than the number of hours for theoretical courses.
For the 2020-2021 academic year, state universities like Yaoundé 2 have varied their offers in terms of professional bachelor's degree and master's. Applicants have a choice between several of the 8 Masters 1 and 9 Masters 2 programs.
We need to professionalize so as to give the skills necessary for those who are going to work directly in the society. All the universities are now trying to get into that process, not only because it is a governmental orientation, but a necessity.
Educational authorities now endeavor to innovate their offers each year to suit the needs of the current and future job market.
It is commonplace to find university graduates who have completely diverted from their specialties and now embrace new professions. An example is Kamer, Jeanette Defoe and Karin Fon, who have shoved aside their bachelor's degrees to engage in fashion and design as well as hotel management. Beatrice Ngum now profiles these two, who say getting trained and embracing the informal sector is worth the trouble.
She is a university graduate with no work experience, but the world of textile wooed her.
I draw my inspiration from certain fashion designers like Imana Yisi, Alpha D, Pateo, Jules Touré. In Europe, there are many of them.
After her studies, she is a fashion designer with a well-recognized brand name, Kamer. As an accomplished designer, she makes a fool of suggestions that she might be in need of a job.
The level I have attained now does not permit me to work for another. The advantage I have as a self-employed is that I work when I want.
And elsewhere, it's been a journey from university to a restaurant. The employee has learned the nuances of large-scale cooking, juice making.
I cannot spend all my time depending on my mom, so I told her that I want to go to professional school. So she enrolled me in hotelery school, where I obtained my diploma in catering and hotel management.
Karen keeps a cheerful look despite the odds.
For example, we have Okobon today, and the customer asks for kati, which is tomorrow. And when you keep telling him that, no, sir, there's no Okobon today, it's like you're irritating him. So we just need to swallow it and just know that, okay, he is a customer and he has the right.
The employee on one side and the self-employed on the flip side of the coin reinforce that it is worthwhile learning a trade.
The University of Yaoundé-Toussourt has fully welcomed the blueprints for the professionalization of studies prescribed by the head of state, Paul Biya, through the Faculty of Economics, which offers students the chance to receive support training from the private sector and exchange programs with the diaspora. The output of learners has been upgraded. Ewane Pole tells us more.
The University of Yaoundé-Toussourt has embarked on a program to professionalize the education system in the Faculty of Science and Economic Management. We offer training in domains of banking, accountancy and decentralization, badly needed in the labor market. This is in a bid to ensure efficiency with the type of graduates that come out of the university. GCAM has manifested their interest, and we are happy to have signed agreements with many private sector institutions. The partnership between the University of Yaoundé-Toussourt and intellectuals in the diaspora is being carried out through a digital platform which will help to train creators of jobs and not job seekers.
Still in higher education, some 300 students have graduated as professional IT engineers following a 3-year program at the African Institute for Computer Sciences in Cameroon. They were handed over their diplomas at the ceremony, which coincided with the solemn reopening of the school for the 2020-2021 academic year. Yoti Kaleli-Songe reports on the event, streamed live on CRTV Web and the Institute's Facebook page.
Petals to honor the overall best graduating student of the African Institute of Computer Sciences, EIE Cameroon. This 21st batch received their diplomas after a 3-year training that qualifies them as IT engineers.
It helped me to be ready for the professional world, continue my schooling.
Their last semester at school, they say, was a little rocky due to the coronavirus outbreak, but they kept their eyes on the goal and today received the admiration of management.
I would like to congratulate all my students for that great work.
To bring parents closer to the ceremonial ground, the event was streamed live on CRTV Web and EIE's Facebook page, and the graduates were counseled.
Be serious and rigorous at work, that's what pays. If you are not serious in what you do, you won't succeed.
With such wise words, these professional IT engineers jump into a future where their know-how will be useful.
We'll now take you over to the Southwest region, where at the University of Boya, lecturers have been schooled on the implementation plan for the quality assurance in the distance learning program. This was at the 5-day workshop presided over by the Vice-Chancellor of the University of Boya, Professor Horace Ngomomanga. Ombosuzi Monjoa reports from the Southwest.
An implementation plan for quality assurance in the distance education program of the University of Boya has been developed to help maintain the standard of education as the program evolves to integrate the e-learning mode. This was the outcome of the 5-day virtual workshop that sought to develop quality standards in the distance learning program.
They have tried to ensure that their participants, first of all, follow the trends, the international trends in quality assurance development for distance and open learning. And for that, I really want to congratulate the Faculty of Education, which has a very long experience.
The quality of course content for the distance education program hosted by the Faculty of Education will greatly benefit the learners.
This distance education, which we are offering more for basic education teachers, is a real plus for our national education, for national development, to address the challenges that our country is facing socio-politically.
As they go to work, they have been encouraged to extend their skills to other faculties of the university.
Still in education, in the littoral region, teachers and students in secondary schools have been expressing their worries about the two-shift system. While teachers complain that adjusting to the hours they have to put in is a challenge, students on their part say time constraints have set in. Scholar Maloke tells us more.
Madam Wafo Gladys is a geography teacher in Government Bilingual High School Deido in Douala. She says inasmuch as a two-shift system of education comes to solve a problem, it has a lot of challenges.
It will be very difficult for us to make up with the syllabus because the time has been reduced and then the hours per week has equally been reduced. For instance, this is Form 4. We're normally supposed to have 3 hours a week. But this time, with a two-shift system, we cannot meet up. They come in the morning, maybe you have 2 hours in the morning. They have to wait till maybe your class is later again in the day, maybe by 3 o'clock.
Not only teachers see the two-shift system of education that way, as students and parents also think it's challenging.
Last year, if maybe you didn't understand, maybe you can ask from your classmates to help you because there was a lot of time. But this year now, everything has just changed.
Most of the times, when I go to work, I don't really know what the child is doing in the house. Don't know whether the child have really gone to school or not.
Whatever the way actors in the education sector look at the two-shift system of education, they have to do everything possible to overcome the challenges.
In economic news, the concept of taxation is an important component of development as taxes enable governments fund the money into the economy and raise the standard of living in a country. It is thus a civic responsibility for students who unfortunately sometimes do not see the need and opt for fraud or other tax evasion attitudes. Luma Slim Davies questions this lack of civic spirit in the following reports.
Taxes are necessary for government to carry out economic and development projects and provide social amenities.
The level of taxation of Cameroon is not so hard. Like Senegal, the level taxation 45.1%. The problem is that the informal sector is so hard and reduce the capacity of government to collect the tax.
However, Cameroonians have mixed feelings on the issues of paying taxes.
Most Cameroonians are complaining about taxes, that the rate is too high. That's why most of them have closed up businesses because they are not able to pay taxes.
Cameroonians, they don't all the time have the means to pay the taxes.
At times I forgot to pay my taxes. They have to remind me.
Education on taxes and taxation procedures is important.
At first, we were having a little bit difficulties in paying taxes, like the one that they have just suspended, the patang. Because when you go there, they will give you an exact time you have to pay.
Paying taxes is a little bit controversial. The increasing of the taxes must not lead to the winding up of a company.
The people are the end beneficiaries from taxes if well coordinated and used properly.
Chocolate producers of France have pledged to support the cocoa sector in Cameroon at an audience granted them by the Ministers of Trade and of Agriculture and Rural Development. The delegation expressed their volition to use Cameroon's cocoa for their confectionery and chocolate business. On behalf of the Club of Chocolate Makers of France, Christophe Bertrand talks of their intention in this excerpt. Take a listen.
The Cameroonese forest is still like it was 100 years ago. So this is very important for the French customer, and you don't have no children working in the farms. We organized fermentation of the cocoa, and this allows to buy maybe twice the price that you are used to receive. And also it creates employment. More and more people hear about the Cameroon and tries to understand that it is something like an interesting origin.
In health news, members of the Organization for the Fight Against Endemic Diseases in Central Africa are working on ways to oust neglected tropical diseases in the sub-region. In the course of an annual meeting chaired by the Secretary General of the organization, Emmanuel So Obiang Ada, the effectiveness of control mechanisms was evaluated. Victor Siga reports.
The initiative is the result of the cooperation between the Economic and Monetary Community of Central Africa and the government of the Federal Republic of Germany through the German Development Bank with the technical support of the Swiss Tropical and Public Health Institute. Specific objective is to guarantee an effective implementation of the project to combat neglected tropical disease in CEMAC countries in the context of COVID-19. As part of its approach, 19 doctoral students from member countries have been given the latitude to conduct a research project for their thesis. Members thus made an evaluation of the advancements of each research project and strengthened the knowledge and skills of the students on the presentation of scientific publication. The meeting ends tomorrow with the general presentation of the works done so far.
The wearing of face masks in public places will be mandatory until further notice.
On sports and COVID-19 tonight, we talk on the health protocol that has been instituted for footballers, given that Cameroon will be hosting a number of competitions. The local football championship will soon begin, and the Indomitable Lions will play 2 qualifying matches in November against Mozambique. How will these encounters be managed amidst the coronavirus pandemic? Baldwin Summer provides insight into this with Professor William Gachu, the team doctor of the Indomitable Lions. Hello, Baldwin.
Good evening to you, Esther Kmer. It is an important topic discussed among sportsmen and women, especially footballers, given that there is this health protocol or sanitary measures outlined by the World Football Governing Body, FIFA, that must be respected by footballers the world over during this period that we have international matches that are being played. What are these sanitary measures? We discussed this with Professor William Gachu. He is a team doctor of Cameroon's Indomitable Lions. Good evening, Prof.
Good evening, Tama.
Tell us, Prof, what are these sanitary measures, the health protocol outlined by the World Football Governing Body, FIFA, during this COVID-19 period that must be respected by footballers the world over?
The protocol are in 2 levels. First of all, we have our own protocol that we pulled down. This protocol started 2 days before the beginning of the camp by performing to all the player and staff member PCR tests, and only negative delegation members are allowed to attend at the camp. And as soon as we arrive at the camp, we also we have pulled down another protocol. That means it's a close follow-up of the player and delegation member. So every day they should tell us if there are any symptoms. And if there is a symptom, we have to perform another test. As part of FIFA regulation, another test is performing 2 days before the match days. And this test is doing under supervision, and only negative players are allowed to play the match, and the positive players and also their close contact are directed, put in isolation.
Finally, Doctor, in 30 seconds, so how safe are players on the field of play when we know that in football you can hardly avoid body contacts between players, especially if somebody is positive, COVID-19 positive?
It's sure that in such case the risk zero is not exist, but we also well accepted that when the sport activity involves player and athlete who have been negative 2 days before and who respect all the measurements, this risk is almost null. For example, during the match, the players are not allowed to do handshake, to hold teams, to spy team, and if everybody respects the rules, the risk is quite null.
Thank you so much, Professor William Gachu, for being our guest this evening. Tomorrow with the team doctor, we talk about players tested positive for COVID-19. Back to you, Esther Kmer.
Thanks so much, Baldwin Saman. In politics, after the pre-electoral litigation hearings for the December 6th regional election, which saw some candidates re-established, Elechem now has to update its data. The elections governing body is busy receiving the choices and colors of ballot papers of concerned political parties and traditional rulers. Beatrice Lawsamba presents the latest preparations at Elechem.
By now, Elechem has clocked up half the mile it needs to walk to the December 6th regional council election. After pre-electoral litigation hearings which led to the re-establishment of lists, the elections governing body updates its data now, keeping its hands on ballot papers as well.
The different candidates concerned have been dropping samples of ballot papers and color choices. When my peers will see the color that I have chosen, they will see that I am sending forth a message. The colors will speak to the voters.
The election watchdog is also identifying polling stations, getting political parties assigned representatives to these stations, voting details to be done and dusted with 2 weeks before election date when campaigns are due to begin. The regional election will see 700 divisional delegates voted by municipal councillors and 200 traditional rulers voted by their peers across the National Triangle.
On to this good news, CRTV's Director General has received 2 Excellence Awards for his stewardship in the state broadcaster. Mr. Shaun Dongo was handed over the award by the Executive Director of Go Africa Initiative Cameroon, Serge Tamanjong, and it is in recognition of the quality management of human resources and the reforms in the corporation. Baldwin Sama has the details.
CRTV's Director General Shaun Dongo receiving an award from Go Africa Initiative Cameroon, recognizing the impressive changes carried out by CRTV's Director General since his appointment, especially the creation of different channels like CRTV News and CRTV Sports and Entertainment, and also using merit in the management of human resources. For them, he is the right man at the right place.
We believe that every nation on earth that has developed because some people somewhere or some institution somewhere did their job well to get the country developed. In a time where our nation was greatly challenged, CRTV has stood its ground to protect the image of our country. We are here today to recognize and appreciate CRTV because the image of a country is like shares in the stock exchange market.
Go Africa Initiative equally handed over this board, bearing the message, congratulations to the Director General, explaining that if he has been able to succeed so far, it's also thanks to his collaborators. Shaun Dongo explains that thanks to local educational talks organized, CRTV's national station was winner of the 2019 Impact Audio Media House of the Year, an award by Go Africa Initiative.
Go Africa Initiative there, represented by its Executive Director, Serge Taminang. Cameroon's Indomitable Lions have been excelling with their clubs lately and have been main authors of their team's victories. Eric Maxim Choupo-Moting scored 2 goals for Bayern Munich in their 3-0 win over Duren, while Carl Toko Ekambi scored a brace for his club FC Lyon in their 3-1 victory over Strasbourg this weekend. Baldwin Sama has the details.
Bunassar spacing behind for the first time tonight, and Eric Maxim Choupo-Moting.
In his maiden outing with his new club, Bayern of Munich, Eric Maxim Choupo-Moting was simply exceptional, scoring a brace. Playing against Duren in the German Cup, Eric Maxim Choupo-Moting clinched a 24th minute opener for his team, while bouncing back with a powerful shot later to score his second goal, helping his team defeat Duren 3-0. Same performance it was for Carl Toko Ekambi, whose brace helped Lyon secure a narrow edge against Strasbourg on day 7 of the French League One at the weekend. The 28-year-old former Villarreal forward doubled Lyon's lead at the 25th minute before his team benefited from a penalty that he easily concretized as Lyon defeated Strasbourg 3-2. In the English Premier League, Frank Zambo Anguissa and his club Fulham managed a 1-1 draw against Sheffield United, with the Cameroonian's presence not able to lift his team Fulham from their last position on the league standings.
Our main story tonight was that the Africa Amnesty Month for the surrender and collection of illegally owned and small and light arms has been launched in Yaoundé, decrying the over 40 million weapons in circulation and government resolving to address the scourge causing deaths and slowing development. More news comes up at 8:30 p.m. with Adel Mbala. I'll be back tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. God willing, thanks for watching. Stay tuned to our programs on CRTV. Good night.
In this connection, we should avoid stigmatizing